Welcome everyone. So in the last video we saw first type of crossfield tube, that is magnetron, which was primarily used as an oscillator. Now in this video we will see uh, other two types of the crossfield tubes, that is crossfield amplifier and gyrotron. As the name suggests, crossfield amplifier is used as a primarily as a amplifier, whereas gyrotron can be used as an amplifier as well as oscillator. So what is CFA or crossfield amplifiers? These are having a similar geometry to that of a TWT. Remember, TWT is a linear beam type tube or O type tube, whereas CFA is a crossfield tube or M type tube. But CFA employs a crossfield interaction compared to TWT that is similar to that of a magnetron. So electric field and magnetic field inside CFA are similar to magnetron, but the structure or geometry is similar to TWT. So the RF input is applied to a slow wave structure in the interaction region of CFA, similar to that TWT. Slow wave structures can be used as a helical coil, or sometimes folded backline slow wave structure is also used. Electron beam, which is applied to this CFA, is deflected by negatively biased electrode. That means apart from having anode and cathode, there is a separate electrode which is also known as a sole electrode. So this negatively biased electrode is nothing but a sole electrode to force the beam perpendicular to the slow wave structure. Okay, so that means if a slow wave structure is like this one, the electron beam is moving like this one, then the sole electrode which is in between will force this in the radial direction, which will be perpendicular to the direction of slow wave structure, which is in the longitudinal direction. Okay, so that will be the purpose of that sole electrode. In addition, the magnetic bias field is applied perpendicular to this electric field and perpendicular to the electron beam. So that is XYZ axis now. So if slow wave structure is in X axis, okay, sole electrode will be in the Y axis, let's say here, and a magnetic bias field will be in the Z axis. Okay, so that will force or that will impact into the working of CFA as an amplifier. How? Let's see that. So the magnetic field, that is magnetic bias field, exerts a force on the electron beam that counteracts the field from the sole. Now sole electrode is forcing electron beam to deviate in a perpendicular direction. To avoid that, if it moves into the perpendicular direction, then it can work as an oscillator. To avoid that, there is a counteract, that is, or we can say in the reverse manner also, magnetic field exerts a force that forces the electron beam to deviate from its original direction. So to counteract that, there is a sole electrode, or whatever sole electrode does, that will be counteracted by the magnetic field exerted. So in the absence of RF input, electric and magnetic field are adjusted so that their effects on the electron beam cancel. So there is no force and electron beam can leave the tube parallel to the slow wave structure. Okay, so if there is no input given, then electron beam will travel unaffected, because the perpendicular fields, which are electric and magnetic field, as this is a cross field tube, the perpendicular fields will cancel each other out and electron beam will pass without any deviation. Okay, so it is important to apply RF input, that is our microwave input, which we want to amplify now. That's how amplifier will be achieved. So crossfield amplifier diagram is shown in your screen. A large negative voltage is placed on the green electrode in the center. So that is, although it is not visible as a green, this is a sole electrode. Okay, and large magnetic field is directed perpendicular to the page. So magnetic field is perpendicular to the page. Page means the screen that we are seeing. This forms a thin spinning disk of electrons with flow pattern like a spinning water as it drains from the sink or toilet, as you can see here. Okay, so electron beam which is focused by a cathode, external cathode, that will uh, be deviate that will generate the electrons that will deviate in a from their original direction of motion because of the sole electrode as well as electric field. A slow wave structure is located above and below the spinning disk of electron. So slow wave structure, which is not visible in this diagram, is located above and below the spinning disk of electrons. Again, that will be in the upper part of our screen and lower part of the screen. The electrons flow much slower than the speed of light, as we know, and flow wave structure reduces the velocity of RF input. So here we are giving input, RF input, which we want to amplify. Now this will slow down the movement of electron and as well as movement of traveling wave. The slow wave structure is slowing down the movement of traveling wave. This is the RF. It is slowed down by the helical structure or folded backline slow wave structure. Okay, so both are slowed down to match the electron velocity. Why they are slowed down? If RF input has a velocity greater than the electron velocity, we will not be able to make them interact with each other. So that's why slow wave structure is used to slow down the RF input enough to match the velocity of electron. Velocity of electron is already slower than the speed of light, and microwave inputs are having speed greater than, much more greater than the electron velocity. So it is necessary to slow down the velocity of RF input. Okay, so applying a RF field causes a velocity modulation. This process is similar to your TWT. The slow wave structure, which is slowing down the RF input, generates a RF field that is causing a velocity modulation, and that causes a bunching of electrons of a electron beam. Beam is also periodically deflected towards the slow wave circuit, producing an amplifier signal. So how velocity modulation causes a current modulation, and that energy is transferred back again into the RF input, producing an amplified signal. Okay, so the working is similar to, or geometry is similar to the slow wave structure, but the working is affected by cross field of electric field and magnetic field. Okay, so these CFAs have a very good efficiencies up to 80%, but the gain is limited to 10 to 15 dB. So advantage is efficiency is much higher than the linear beam tube amplifiers like klystrons, but their gain is limited to 10 to 15 dBs only. Okay, so when you want a higher efficiency, instead of klystrons you can go for the crossfield amplifiers, but if you want a higher power gain, then you can go for the klystrons. In addition, CFA has a noisier output than the klystron amplifier or TWT. Okay, so that is another disadvantage. Output is much more noisier compared to the klystron as well as TWT. The presence of noise is much more higher in CFA output compared to the klystron output or TWT output. And bandwidth is very good, up to 40%. It can provide the wide range of frequencies and amplification. Okay, so let's compare magnetron with the CFA. Right now we were comparing klystron amplifiers or TWT with the CFA, amplifier with the amplifier. Now we will compare one crossfield tube to another crossfield tube. Okay, let's see the comparison. Magnetron versus CFA. Remember, magnetron is primarily used as a oscillator, whereas CFA is used as an amplifier. Okay, so what are the differences? First one, magnetron is used in a communication equipment or a radar transmitter as a pulsed oscillator to derive high power output. So remember this is oscillator to derive high power output, whereas CFA is used in the final stages of high power radar system as an amplifier. This is oscillator and this is amplifier. Magnetron is oscillator with single RF output connection, because oscillators may not require input, so single RF output, whereas CFA has an input as well as output, both connections, because it is an amplifier. Third, magnetron. Continuous interaction between RF field and beam of electrons takes place over the entire length. Okay, that is important. This is similar to your linear beam tube, but the field is cross field. That's why it falls under the category of cross field tube. But the interaction is taking place over the entire length of a tube. But in cross field amplifier, RF field remains stationary. RF field does not move, and interaction happens only during the spinning of electron beam around the cathode. Okay, then magnetron, most importantly, does not have any kind of slow wave structure similar to linear beam type tubes like TWT, and CFA has a slow wave structure similar to TWT, which consists of two types again: forward wave CFA, which uses helix, whereas backward wave CFA uses a bar line or folded back line. It is also called as a bar line. So bar line, or you can call it as a folded back line. So these are the four primary differences between magnetron and crossfield amplifier. Remember, this is oscillator and this is amplifier. Now, is there any device which can do both tasks? So let's move to the third type of crossfield tube, that is known as a gyrotron. It is another crossfield tube which can be used as an amplifier, or it can be used as an oscillator also. This tube consists of again electron gun similar to all the vacuum tubes, with input and output cavities along the axis of the beam, axis of electron beam, similar to klystron amplifier. Okay, so if you recall the klystron amplifier, the geometry is similar to that one, but the field will be now crossed field. However, gyrotron also has a solenoidal bias magnet. Now this is important. This is similar to your magnetron, that provides an axial magnetic field. Okay, this field forces electron to travel in the tight spirals down the length of a tube. So this is a combination of some sort of CFA as well as magnetron over the entire length of a tube, that is equivalent to the magnetron. So the field is over the, or interaction is over the entire length of a tube, that is similar to the magnetron, whereas it travels in a tight spirals, that is similar to your CFA. The electron velocity is high enough that relativistic effects are important. So what does that mean? The relativity between electron velocity and input, that is important. Bunching occurs and energy from the transverse component of electron velocity is coupled to the RF field. So RF field is no longer stationary in gyrotron, whereas RF field was stationary in case of CFA. Okay, so the transverse component of the electron velocity, transverse means perpendicular component of electron velocity, is coupled to the RF field. Okay, let's see the structure of this gyrotron. So if you see this, there is an electron beam, electron gun generating an electron beam. So here you can see electron gun. This is the blue arrows are nothing but your electron beams as indicated here. Okay, then these two are solenoidal or SOL, abbreviated as SOL, magnetic field bias strength, producing spiral movement of electrons in the tube. This is the tube. Okay, input is given here in this waveguide cavity. Okay, this is the cavity as you can see here. So in the waveguide cavity we are giving input. Okay, so once input is given, it will move in this direction and output is taken outwards towards here. Okay, so input and output both can be present for amplifier, only output will be present in case of oscillator. Okay, external DC supply sorry, is also given similar to all the other types of the tubes. Collector is here which will collect the electron beam. Okay, so significant feature of gyrotron is that frequency of operation is determined by the bias field strength which is generated by solenoidal magnets, and the electron velocity as opposed to the dimensions of the tube. So it doesn't matter how much is the distance between the cavities or how much is the length of a tube, but what matters is the what is the field strength, magnetic field strength applied by the soul, as well as what is the velocity of electron inside the tube because of a RF input. This makes gyrotron specially useful for millimeter wave frequencies, and which offers the highest output power of up to 10 to 100 kilowatt of any tube in this frequency range. Okay, so no other tube can produce such high output power for same frequency, and that's why gyrotron is getting popular. It also has a high efficiency, which is another advantage for tubes in the millimeter wave range. So compared to other tubes in the millimeter wave range, it provides the highest possible efficiency. Gyrotron is a relatively new type of tube, but it is rapidly replacing reflex klystrons or extended interaction oscillator, whether as amplifier or oscillator. It is replacing in both cases, so as a source of millimeter wave power. So it can be used as a power amplifier. At the same time, it can also be used as a oscillator. So it can replace magnetrons or it can replace klystrons also. So that is the advantage of gyrotron. So that ends about the crossfield tube, and that ends our the third module, that is microwave tubes, in which we saw linear beam type tubes, klystrons, reflex klystrons, that is two cavity klystron, multi cavity klystron and reflex klystron. And after that we saw crossfield tubes like magnetrons, now gyrotrons, crossfield amplifiers. In the linear beam type tube we also saw the amplifier called as a helix TWT. So these are primarily used as a source of microwave power, sometimes in case of amplifiers or sometimes in case of oscillators. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.